Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. My name is Patrick and I'm a biochemist and I've been working in the pharmaceutical industry and in the supplement industry. And today I thought we'd go through what amino acids and protein actually are, how they work and why they're so important. So if you're interested in that, I think you come to the right place, and I think we learn some new things even if you thought you knew what these things are, because most people have it not perfectly correct, I will argue. So let's get started. Uh, Amino acids, protein and also our DNA, they are all connected in a workflow. And this was discovered in the 50s and later was awarded the Nobel Prize. Because what was discovered then is what is our genes coding for. We knew we had some genetic material, but we could not crack that code. And when we cracked it, I think we were almost surprised. Not that I was around in the 50s, but I've heard the stories. Basically because all our genes code for are 20 things. So all this genome, all this big genome that codes for a total human body, and it's the same with animals and plants. And each code in the gene codes for is 20 different things, 20 amino acids. That's all there is. So basically, we have DNA that codes for amino acids, and these are the 20 amino acids. That is why you often hear about 20 amino acids. They are constituents that build up everything in our body. Those amino acids are put together to form protein. Protein, scientifically, or if you draw them on a computer, looks like this. That doesn't tell you much, does it? So I will tell it in a different way. This is amino acids. It's Lego pieces. And we have 20 different one of them. And how we put them together is this, the manual. That is the DNA. The DNA is a blueprint for how to put Lego pieces together to build different stuff. So this is a protein, something you build with Lego. Lego amino acid, protein is whatever you built. And how to build it, the blueprint. It's actually that simple but yet that complicated, because it's simple because our genes only code for 20 things, 20 amino acid. And those segments that code for this are called codons, and they're called A, T, C, G, which are the codons. But depending on in which order you put together these amino acids, you get different proteins. And those proteins are the things that do the amazing stuff in our body. So, our hair is protein, our skin is protein, our muscles are protein, our connective tissue is protein, our heart is protein, our cell membranes have protein in them. Most of our organs consist mainly of protein. Our enzymes, and enzymes are things that catalyze chemical reactions, are protein. So when you eat a meal, for example, that with the carbohydrates that go through something called the glycolysis, which is 10 chemical steps. And then there is the Krebs cycle, 8 chemical steps. And then the electron transport chain. Everything goes through the same process. And each chemical step there, it's catalyzed by a protein. If you remove one protein, that step stops and you, in worst case, die. Some of the steps are essentially need them. There might be a few that you can survive without. And the way body works, if you need something, let's say you're exercising, the body then changes things physiologically, like the heart becomes bigger and can pump more. But in the cell, what the body does is that it reads here, how do we do when the exercise? Yeah, on this page, to see what to do. We need to build more of the proteins catalyzing the Krebs cycle, so we can run more oxygen through the system and then transport electrons to the mitochondria. And then they start to build more of those proteins. Then if you stop exercising, the body's like, we have quite a lot of these enzymes that are not used. So let's, break them down into pieces and build something useful of them. Same if you eat one type of diet, you go from high carbohydrate to a high fat diet. Then you need more enzymes that break down fat and handle the fat. Therefore, it becomes better in burning fat. if you feed the body fat. It becomes good at what you give it. If you run, you get faster. If you lift, you get stronger. If you eat fat, you get better at burning fat. That's the main reason why that's a popular diet. Because between meals, if you're not eating anything, your body is really good at burning fat. And it has lots of fat usually. So that is really the key. And then there's often talk about essential amino acids and non-essential. And basically, the essential ones are like these 9 amino acids. But you shouldn't forget that you have conditionally essential amino acids, which is most of the others. It's just 3 or 4 amino acids that are not essential. And what does this mean? It means they're essential sometimes. For example, if you're sick, then some of them might be essential. If you go on a ketogenic diet, some of these are essential because they're used to make carbohydrates. And in the body, in the cell, to build the protein, you need all 20. There's very few proteins that do not use all 20 of them. And there's a lot of misconception out there because people often say that you need the essential amino acids to build muscle. Yeah, you only need to eat the essential ones because the body can do the rest, assuming everything is just in harmony. Then you can do the other ones, but the cell need all 20 to build muscle protein. If something is missing, you're not building protein. So, and you can see that in studies when they time essential amino acid compared to whey protein. So whey protein contains all of this. Most animal proteins, all animal proteins contain all of this. Plant-based protein may not always contain all of them, simply because plants are more different than humans and animals. So sometimes they have missing out a few of them or a very low of them, because we need these in specific ratios also. Because if the blueprint says you need 10 of this, 8 of this, 2 of this, and you have 8, 5, 20 of it, it doesn't really match the blueprint. So that is what is called quality of protein. If the blueprint matches what you have in the bag with your amino acids, then that you have a high quality. If there's a mismatch, the quality is lower. That is the main reason for classifying protein in high quality and low quality. Then of course, if those mismatches are in the non-essential ones, the body can take time to do them. So going back to the point, when you look at studies where they eat essential amino acids compared to whey protein, it seems somewhat better to eat essential amino acids pre-training and whey protein post-training. When you need the amino acids is post-training and even for some time after that, 24, 48 hours or so, the body keeps building. And when you eat essential amino acids, the body cannot build muscle on these. They also need to produce the non-essential before it can build. So therefore you need to eat essential amino acids earlier than you eat a full protein. This is often totally misunderstood by supplement industry that sell these as being faster or whatever. They're not faster, they're slower in that sense. They're absorbed faster, but the body cannot use them to build anything yet. Then they need to complement with the missing pieces here. And you see that in studies that there are some differences if you take them pre or post. You need to take the essential ones earlier so the body can build the missing ones for you. And that is also why you get away with a lower amount. You can eat maybe 10 grams of these, have the same effect as 20 grams of protein. Yeah, it's because the other 10 grams the body needs to do, and that once again take time. So it's really no advantage of eating essential amino acids compared to whole proteins. On the contrary, there seem to be some disadvantages because of those lack of the non-essential amino acids that are still essential to do anything. It's still essential to build muscle, essential for ligaments, essential for skin, essential for pretty much everything. So that's the main use of protein, to build all the tissues in the body and to catalyze the chemical reactions. And a catalysator is something that enables a reaction to happen. And while we're at it, those enzymes, those are the ones looking on all these funny structures that we model if you go to biochemistry school or work with this. You can see how these changes the shape and then go in and make a reaction happen. Basically put things together or make all chemical things reaction. Because all chemistry taken care in our body, if we do that in the lab, we need to do it at a higher temperature, several times higher than the body temperature. The reason it can take place in the body is because of the enzymes. They enable us enable the body to do them at a low temperature. Body temperature is a low temperature. If you go into a chemical lab, everything is boiling and stuff. It's because nothing happens at room temperature. You need to elevate it to get to at least the boiling point of water, but usually the boiling point of some solvent that is much higher than water. So that is what they do. They enable chemical reactions to happen. And if you're missing out on something, if you have some gene deficiency, what you actually have is a deficiency of that protein. That is why missing some genes give you some outcome. If you miss the gene that makes you see colors, the body cannot do that protein in the eye that make you see colors, because we have some protein that see black and white, and they're pretty good to see in the dark, and then we have some that see colors, but they're not so good in the dark, but in strong light. That is why we say that at night all cats are gray. We don't see colors as good in night. Adopsin or rhodopsin are the name of those proteins. So that's basically it. We go from construction book, what to build, put these things together according to the manual, we get a protein that does something funny for us. Then you might have heard about minerals, magnesium, iron, zinc, cobalt and so on, mangan, that might be needed in the body. What they normally do is that they sit on one of these proteins. They might be needed to activate it. They sit somewhere here and activate an enzyme. That's usually their main function. Except electrolytes, they have some other functions, sodium and potassium. But most other minerals, that is their function. They sit and catalyze or help the protein to fold in a certain way and then activate it. So because if body have all this protein going around, it wants the way to activate it, and it puts a mineral there and then it's ready to do its work. And you can remove that and it does not do it. I think the most famous example is hemoglobin that needs iron. There's an iron molecule in hemoglobin. That hemoglobin is the thing, the red blood cells that grabs oxygen, bring it to the body tissues where myoglobin take the oxygen and put it into the cell, sort of. So that's the key with protein, and I think most people when they talk protein don't understand that it goes all the way back to the DNA, to our genes. This is like the core of everything. This is the core of life. Without protein, we can't build anything. And that is also why they're so essential. They're not really, we can use them for energy, but they are mainly construction material. We use them only for energy if we have too much of it, or we're breaking down all proteins and need to do something with them. We use part of it as energy and then pee out the rest. That is why we have urea that smells a bit like ammonia. So I think that's it. Please, if you have any additional questions about protein, just put them in the comments, and like, subscribe, all those things if you find this useful and want more updates on how things actually work in the body. So, hope to see you soon again.